So I want to talk about this military parade that's going to be happening tomorrow. It's supposed to be for the military, but it also just so happens to coincide with, the President Trump's birthday. So let's talk about this real quick. So this weekend, the National Mall in Washington is hosting the largest military parade in decades, as far as we can understand. There's going to be tanks, there's going to be aircrafts, parachute jumpers, artillery vehicles, all types of stuff. And it's going to be this Saturday, June 14th, and to celebrate the Army's 250th anniversary. Now, there's something to note, like I said before, about this. This date also happens to fall on President Trump's 79th birthday. So it's Flag Day, yes, but it's also President Trump's 79th birthday. So we go on to state that it's unclear if the U.S. Navy or the Marine Corps is getting their own parade, but I'm going to talk about that in a sec. So it's their 250th birthday this fall. But right now, we're planning this big, massive parade for the U.S. Army. So as stated before, the parade is gonna have Army equipment and flyovers and music and all kinds of soldiers and equipment. Everybody's going to be in uniform. It's meant to showcase the country's military might, our power. And Trump actually quoted it saying that it's going to be an unforgettable celebration, one like you've never seen. Now, as I said before, the Marine Corps, they have their 250th birthday this year in November 10th as well. But as we understand, there's going to be some celebrations throughout the year to honor them as they do. They have commencement ceremonies all the time. But they don't have a big military parade as far as we understand coming up in the near future. But I guess we can wait to see on that. And the same can be said for the U.S. Navy. They have their 250th birthday on October 13th. But we don't know about them having any sort of massive military parade. I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that it's not on the president's birthday. But as I said before, they will be doing celebrations. The military does these kind of celebrations all the time for anniversaries and commemorations and things like that. So understandably, this has left a lot of people feeling concerned, to say the least, about the fact that the United States isn't exactly known for doing military parades and showing its military might through, these sorts of propagandistic type of events. We don't do that. But I think I know what Trump is going for here. I'm thinking he's going for something like this. It seems like this is the vibe that he wants. Military parades that show your military strength, also show great love for the leader. But one problem with this is that this is common with dictatorships and authoritarian style leadership. So if you're looking for something like this, it's kind of showing us where your mentality is and where you want this country to go. That's not something United States does. It's not what we do. And I'm sure he could envision himself being in this position, waving to thousands and thousands of adoring people who praise the dear leader. But this isn't what we do. This isn't what America's about. So we're going to have to take a big pass on that one. But I want to talk about something else while I still have you, because we want to do this big, huge military parade, but how much exactly is this going to cost us? So officials are stating that the Army/birthday festival parade thing will cost anywhere from $25 million to $45 million, with the Army's latest estimate total about $40 million. But there's more to this price tag than meets the eye, and we're going to talk about it. So that $25 to $45 million is just the core cost of the parade. That's not including any of the additional costs that come with this thing. There's $16 million set aside that's not included in that $45 million for potential road damage because of all the tanks and heavy vehicles and artillery vehicles that will be present on the public roads. Then there's the additional security costs. And then there's additional costs that include things like fuel for vehicles and aircraft, meals for soldiers, and other logistical expenses like stays and travel. When you include all of these factors, this price tag can go up to $92 million. Which is crazy, right? Because this price tag is coming from the federal government. This price tag is coming from the very same federal government that wanted to cut wasteful spending. They wanted to do the whole waste, fraud, and abuse thing, right? But yet we have nearly $100 million to spend on a military birthday parade. Mind you, this is the same federal government that wants to cut $2.7 billion next year for cancer research funding. This is also the same federal government that wants to cut $600 million in grants to institutions and nonprofits that use the money to train teachers on things like divisive ideologies like DEI and anti-racism. Yeah, that same federal government. And mind you, this is the same federal government that fired 59,000 federal employees in the name of preventing waste, fraud, and abuse and saving money. That doesn't include the 75,000 that had to resign due to the pressure from the Trump administration. So we've lost billions of dollars in cancer research funding, hundreds of millions of dollars in educational funding, hundreds of thousands, 134,000 federal employees because we needed to save that money. But boy, oh boy, do we have nearly $100 million to spend on a military parade that just so happens to fall on President Trump's birthday. Come on now. We got our priorities correct. Only in America, right? Yeah, this is crazy. Fascism is here. It's arrived, and we have to do all we can to fight it. So if you're interested in stories like these, follow to stay in the loop. Keep thinking, y'all.